You're live, pal.
We are live, ready to go. Welcome, everybody, if you're joining us. We are here for our Week 4 DFS Smash or Pass. Welcome to the Three Man Rush podcast. I am your host, Landon Oliver, here with my co-host, Jared Holly, and our special guest co-host, Macho Man Drew Savage. Drew is not here with us, unfortunately, tonight, but he got his reincarnation self to join us for the show. So want to give a shout out, Jared. You doing good?
Yeah, doing great, man. We'll definitely miss Drew, but we have the machoest partner we can possibly find on the fly, and Mr. Savage will greet us and hopefully have some good DFS picks for everybody.
Yeah, hopefully so. And gotta ask him, you doing all right there, Mr. Drew Savage?
Oh, he's got a sore throat, but he'll talk on my ear every once in a while and provide information for us.
Well, I think he said something there. I asked him if he was doing all right.
Oh,
Very good.
He's doing very good. All right.
And the bit is dead.
Doing very good. And I think this is just for tonight, right? Not like Idiot and Drew will be back normally next week. So is this just like a 1 week thing just for tonight?
Yeah, it's a one-off. It's for Drew. Oh my god, I'm killing it.
Yes, you're completely blowing this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Keep talking over the soundboard.
Ah,
But that's okay. That's all right.
live TV.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's kind of weird without him running things because I was expecting the countdown to show up. Whenever I clicked the go live thing, I was like, oh, like the countdown's going to show up. So I was like, oh, well, the countdown will pop. And it like just immediately popped into it. Like I was like not prepared at all for that. So yeah, if you are joining us, we want to thank you. And follow us on Twitter at 3 Man Rush Podcast. If you're watching on Twitter, thank you guys so much as well. And you can follow us at our Twitter handle. I'm at Landon3MR, at Jared3MR. And Drew is at Drew3MR. So if you're not really familiar with what we do on this show, we give you a position, a smash or pass option at every position for DFS fantasy for the main slate on Sunday. We have quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Then at the end of this, because we are so gracious to our fans and we love you all, we give you a free FanDuel lineup and a free DraftKings lineup, which other shows lock those behind paywalls. We don't lock those behind paywalls. We give them to you for free. And hopefully, we're going to be playing them. Hopefully everybody else plays them. We win some money together. And look, we're doing pretty good through 3 weeks here. We've made some pretty good profits through 3 weeks.
It's been a rather good 3 weeks. Landon actually really smashed off some free money that FanDuel gave him. I think it was week 2. Was it week 2 or
yeah,
3?
Week 2. Yeah, week 2 had a huge week 2. On that.
He threw a dart in a milli maker, and like literally I could find his name, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" Like you're at 190 points, and you got 2 players left. I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So he did really well.
Yeah, I ended up with like 210 or something like that for the week. So
yeah,
man, it was pretty awesome. Week 2, and then boy Zach is in here. Let's go, fellas. What's up, buddy? We're praying for you. Hope everything's going well for you as well. So good to see you joining us here. We appreciate all the support you show us. So that's my guy right there. He good people. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and get popped off here. We are going to start it off, as we normally do, with our quarterback. So we have quarterback, smash or pass for DFS Sunday. Like I said, this is just main slate. So if you're wondering why there's no Monday night, why there's no Sunday night football or anything like that, it's pretty much just the big tournaments we do. So I'm going to kick this off with Jared. Jared, what are we looking like for the main slate on Sunday? Are there any particular matchups you're looking for? And if so, let's go ahead and talk about quarterbacks.
So, I mean, it would be blasphemous not to start with the game that everybody wants to play, and for good reason. The Ravens and the Bills. You got Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Both quarterbacks are they're capable of easily getting 30-plus fantasy points. Both have extremely high ceilings and easy floors to get to. It's the pace of that game should be really good. There is one concern, I guess, with wind. Like I was reading some reports of like 20-mile-per-hour wind. I don't know how much that would cause problems in that game.
Well, both these quarterbacks have big enough arms that
Yeah.
I think they can cut through. They can cut through the wind. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you believe the theory that weather dictates games, and in some cases it does, this one shouldn't get you too far off because of their arm strength. However, I will say if the wind was to kick up a little bit stronger, bet Lamar Jackson would be my quarterback of choice in this game because I do believe he has the capabilities of getting there with his legs even more than Josh Allen does. Even though Josh Allen's a mobile quarterback as well, it's a completely different level of mobility with Lamar Jackson compared to outside of everybody, basically.
Yeah, literally anybody.
yeah, he's the most mobile quarterback. And then you have Jalen Hurts against the Jaguars. All three of these guys are going to be very popular and for good reasons. That's the reason why they're at the top in their highest price salary. I don't feel like this week anybody needs to get cute on DraftKings or FanDuel. You need to play one of these three guys. If you wanted to, like, you're either going to pay up for quarterback or you're going to go Geno Smith in that level of quarterback, which I kind of like this week because of the game environment he's going to play in against the Lions. But I'm scared about that game a little bit too, and I'll get into that later because of some injury reports that came out, and I don't know if the total is going to be quite what we think it is. So yeah, the three quarterbacks at the top of the list, Lamar Jackson would be my first choice, and then I would go Josh Allen and then Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so mine, I'm right in line with you. Is mine this week is Lamar Jackson. That's who I'm targeting this week, and basically, like, one, you're getting a quarterback one and a running back one rolled into one position. And I know he's going to be like overly played. Everybody's on him, but at the same time, like Jared said, like, it's not the time to get cute. Like, I play Lamar Jackson in this. Buffalo's dealing with a lot of injuries on their defense. And on the converse end, the Ravens are actually getting healthier. As opposed, I think J.K. Dobbins was actually not even listed on the injury report as of today. So that's awesome news for that running game and that offense in general. So yeah, like, I would target. So there's two positions this week because I think with all the running back injuries, you're able to really kind of get different with your running back and wide receiver combinations. So the two positions that I'm not skimping on are running back and tight end. And that's because at those positions, there's just a massive, massive, massive gap. Like, there's a huge gap. Like,
tight end's awful on this.
The tight end gap is insane. So, like Lamar and Mark Andrews, like, I'm looking to pair both those guys together. But yeah, specifically for quarterback, definitely Lamar Jackson is where I'm going.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point with Mark Andrews too, where he's a person you put in a tight end position that's really a wide receiver. Like, it's to that point where you have to treat him as if he's a wide receiver, that you're just fortunate enough to play in the tight end position.
Yeah. So we're on step with Mark Andrews, and we didn't want to get, Andrew Savage back there. Are you good with Lamar Jackson as the smash?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I kept quiet.
You heard it live. Jared learned the assignment on that one. Third time.
I did.
All right. So now, unfortunately, we get to the quarterback pass of the week. And really, like, outside of these three, you can name almost anybody as a pass. But is there any particular guy that you think is going to be kind of like higher owned that you're not really wanting to play at all this week?
Yeah, as the projections go right now, Jalen Hurts is coming in as the highest owned quarterback. There's a guy right underneath them that I'm scared to death to play, and I think he does have an upside, but he's still coming in at 10%, and that's Kyler Murray. I don't trust it. I think Rondale Moore is going to get a lot of steam if he does play, and it's looking like he's going to play on Sunday. I still don't trust this offense. I don't trust the coaching staff.
Not only that, I mean, like, AJ Green is out, and Hollywood Brown is now banged up and questionable as well.
Yeah, and I think, obviously Rondale Moore will get more targets than normal. He's coming off an injury. there's just not a lot of good in Arizona right now for that offense. And to be justified at 10% ownership, I can't play Kyler Murray. Like right now, there is a gap in ownership. Hurts is coming in at almost 20%. And right now, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are right at about 12% apiece.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's not bad at all, really. So
No.
Yeah, I was looking at Kyler Murray, but another guy that I'm kind of off on this week, and he's a little bit cheaper down there, and that's Trevor Lawrence this week against the Eagles. Not necessarily because I think he's going to have a bad game in real life, but I think this Philadelphia secondary, and now with Zay Jones being possibly banged up for them, they can rely on Christian Kirk now. I believe Avonte Maddox, I don't even want to pronounce it, for the Eagles, the slot cornerback that would normally be lined up over Christian Kirk. He is set to miss this game, but I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will more than likely move down and take on that role. And I don't think that it'll be like a huge drop. I mean, I think it'll definitely be some drop off, but I don't think it'll be huge. But I think missing Zay Jones could be a bigger issue. And they could look to try to run the ball and keep that, they can try. I mean, the Eagles defense is just really good, but all throughout the defense. But, it's one of those things where I think this matchup might give Jacksonville on offense a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jacksonville's a much better team, like we've talked all week about, and what we thought they were. And this is kind of one of those games where, I mean, if they hang in there, then they are exactly kind of what we feel like they are. If they get blown out, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they'll get blown out because I think this can turn into a very defensive centric match more than what people believe it will be. I think both these defenses are ascending. I think they both match up really well against the offenses, like for what they want to do. So that's kind of like it's just two really bad matchups for both offenses, like because the strengths of each one is kind of like the strength of the other one. So like the Jaguars have a great defensive line. The Eagles have a great offensive line. At the same time, the Jaguars, I'm telling you, Devin Lloyd is just all over the field. Like he's playing so well right now. I think their corners are playing better than what people are thinking they will. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball like they normally would. Like they might have to pass the ball a lot, which I mean, of course, right now Jalen Hurts is playing better than anybody in the passing game. But yeah, I just think this could turn into more of a defensive chess match than what people think it might end up being. So, that's just where I kind of stand on. I'm out on Trevor Lawrence this week.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He's a pass for the quarterback position for sure.
Yeah. All right. So Lamar Jackson is the smash, and I think we're both going to agree with Kyler Murray as well. So Kyler Murray is going to be the pass of the week. So make sure you lock those into your lineups. And now let's get on to our running backs. So this is a very odd position this week. So many big name guys out. DeAndre Swift's going to be out. David Montgomery is going to be out. There's also guys banged up like Dalvin Cook. Jonathan Taylor appeared on the injury report with a toe injury. Najee Harris, that's kind of had some tough uphill sledding. So it's a weird week for running backs in general. So where do we kind of turn? Christian McCaffrey's another guy. He's questionable as well. Derrick Henry hasn't looked great. Austin Eckler has not really looked great. So I think Cordell Patterson also is questionable as well in this game. So, yeah, man, just attrition at the running back position through 4 weeks already. Where do we kind of pivot here with these running backs? Do you kind of look more towards backups like Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams to kind of pay down a little bit and still get a starting caliber running back? Or will those guys just be so popular and chalky that you just kind of stay away from them?
I think it depends on site. I think DraftKings Jamal Williams is a lock at his price tag. On FanDuel, he's 7,400. Personally, I would not play him on FanDuel because he's going to be very popular on FanDuel. He's currently projected at 22% ownership. I think where you can get different, and he may not get as many touches, 6,100 Kareem Hunt, I think is sneaky in GPPs, especially in large field tournaments. They're playing Atlanta, and I do not rule out him and Chubb both having 2 touchdowns in that game and going bananas. I think it's a possibility for sure. I would lock in Jamal Williams on DraftKings, and he is a fade for me on FanDuel due to the ownership.
Okay, and then so like, how are you kind of approaching outside of Jamal Williams? If you're fading him on FanDuel, where are we kind of pivoting to on FanDuel?
Yeah, like I said, I would pay down. I would look at some options like Kareem Hunt at 6,100. Currently projecting at, let me pull it back up here. Yeah, Kareem Hunt's under 3% ownership right now, and he's still averaging 15 touches a game with one of the best offensive lines in football. I don't think that's a bad pivot. Detroit kind of makes me nervous this week too with the injuries that's kind of taking place. One of the good pivots I would have had in that game would have been DJ Shark. If Amon would have suited up, I think Shark would have been a great play if Amon was kind of limped out there. But he's going to be overly popular now because Amon St. Brown's out, and so I'm kind of off the Lions altogether this week on FanDuel. But like I stated before, Jamal Williams is that lock on DraftKings at that price tag. You can't really beat it. Some other running backs, Jonathan Taylor is going to be super popular on FanDuel, but he's in a great spot. I think this is the week where JT goes nuts. Saquon Barkley is currently projected at the highest ownership of any running back. Someone I kind of like in a good spot with a great offensive line and the game environment. They're 8-point favorites. I would look at AJ Dillon or Aaron Jones in this spot. I like both running backs. Both of them are coming in at pretty low ownership, and I think they're both in like great positions to have great games. The only problem is choosing which one you think is going to do it. Right now, I would lean more towards AJ Dillon, but it would not shock me at all I would lean more towards Aaron Jones. It would not shock me more in the least bit if AJ Dillon was the one that had the 2 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah, you know how I feel about both those guys. My guy for the week, for FanDuel or just DFS in general, is a guy that a lot of people might have some issues with because it hasn't really popped off yet. But I think this could be a good week for him at a price point of $5,700.
Oh.
$5,700 on FanDuel right now. That's Travis Etienne going up against the Eagles. And I'll tell you why. So this comes from Ian Harditz on Twitter at Ian Harditz. So through weeks 1 through 3, he's had 18, 33, and 30 reception yards. But the Jaguars, there's a good chance they might play from behind in this game. So they're going to have to be throwing the ball. Well, Right now, Travis Etienne's averaging a running back high 10.1 yards per reception, and the Eagles are giving up the 8th most receptions to opposing running backs. So I look at that. The Eagles do give up receptions to running backs. Etienne's clearly making the most of those opportunities he gets with, the chance that they could be playing from behind as well. In this game and have to throw the ball some. As much as I'm kind of staying off Trevor Lawrence, I think Etienne's receptions could really put him in a good spot this week. And for $5,700, that's a shot I'm willing to take.
I like it. I do like that. I think it's a good pivot for sure. We haven't got tight ends yet, but I like Evan Ingram as well. I think if they're going to be trailing like most of us feel like they're going to, it's going to be a lot of short passes to tight ends and running back. Kirk, this is the first week I do not like Christian Kirk.
It's going to be tough sledding.
It's a tough week for Jacksonville.
So,
I like Etienne a lot. That's a good pick.
Yeah, so now let's get into some running back passes on the week. What we got here? Who's some guys that are, everybody's kind of going towards that you're not really a big fan of?
Man, I'll go ahead and say it right now. Christian McCaffrey. He is a fade for me this week. I don't like the game environment. He's on the injury report. I know it's kind of a running joke that Christian McCaffrey goes to the bathroom. He's on the injury report. I think there's some serious issues. With
McCaffrey. He is actually banged up.
Yeah.
It seems like
it's definitely it's not the best spot for him, even though they are playing Arizona this week. I don't know. McCaffrey is my fade. In that price range, there's other guys I would rather play. Austin Eckler, I think he's got to have a game eventually, and it could very well be this week. In that price range too, you do have Derrick Henry, you do have Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I just don't see this being the week to pay up for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Yeah. So for mine, of course, look, it's Colts Titans week. I'm not going to go through a segment without shitting on the Titans before this game. This might come back to bite me, but I'm going Derrick Henry in this matchup. Not only just from the eye test where Derrick Henry, he doesn't look good. He looks slower. That foot injury is really kind of, I don't know if it's really taking a step away, but I know going into last week, he was leading the league in 46 rushing yards below expectation. So that's he's like last in the league in running or rushing yards below expectation, which is a really good measurement of a running back success without the offensive line. And
your offensive line's pretty beat up too.
Their offensive line's pretty beat up, and not only that, the Colts right now have the top run defense in the NFL. Players are only averaging, I believe, 2.8 yards per carry against this Colts front. On defense, that's being said, I don't know if DeForest Buckner is going to end up playing this game, which that could be a big loss. But Grover Stewart right now has just been an absolute monster in the run game. He is suiting up. He is 100% healthy. And, even if he doesn't play, or even if, DeForest Buckner doesn't play, they have some really good run-stopping defensive linemen that they can plug in there, such as Tyquan Lewis, such as Dio Adengbo, that I don't think you're going to see much of a drop-off from a run perspective. And you might not get the pass rushing upside you get with Buckner, but the run defense is very similar. So, like with the way the Colts are playing, plus not only that, but the number one graded linebacker in run defense for this year is EJ Speed, but Shaquille Leonard, a good chance he plays this week as well. He's been the number one rated run stuffing linebacker like the last few years. So you're getting elite run stuffing linebacker back as well. It just doesn't bode well just from the eye test of watching Derrick Henry, that offensive line's banged up, and you're going against a premium elite run stopping defense. I'm off of him this week for sure. And like I said, now that I said that, probably a good chance it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. But
I was going to say,
all the numbers point towards it not being a good matchup for him.
Yeah, I think the Colts, they stopped to run. That is the one thing that defense does. They stop to
Very
run.
good. They're very good.
I will say in large field tournaments, Derrick Henry's a great play because he's always got the potential to go off for a big ceiling game, and he's coming in at about 5% ownership right now on FanDuel. It's probably even lower on DraftKings.
Yeah. Well, I think what can save him this week is if they continue to get him involved in the pass game like they did last week. Like on that first drive, he had in the first half, he had 42 yards, 3 receptions for 42 yards in the first half, where he had 11 carries, but only 64 yards. So he was, and really it was just, he only had one good run. The rest of the time he was getting stuffed pretty frequently. So not really great on the ground, but they did get him involved in the air. So
I don't know I don't think that's the injury. I think that's more of the offensive line just being really bad.
That's why I gave you the rushing, above and below expectation.
Okay.
That does take the offensive line out of the equation and puts it strictly on the running back's performance. And he was going into last week. Now I don't have the updated numbers from what happened this last week, but through the first 2 weeks, he was last in the league, worst in the league. So, yeah, not been good for him, and I'm not going to take any missed opportunity to take a big shit on the Titans.
Yeah, 8,800 is a lot to pay for a player in that position too.
It's a bad matchup too.
It's a bad matchup, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead. Who is our running back smash? Let's get a consensus smash. Who's our smash? We listed Etienne. Who did you have? Who's your guy?
If you're paying up, it's Jonathan Taylor this week at 8,700. I think he is definitely my favorite player in the running back position. He's going to be popular. He's going to come in at some high ownership.
He had a great matchup. The Titans do have to run.
He's got a really good matchup. And
Well,
then
Monty Hooker is out as well. Zach Cunningham is out as well on that defense.
it's kind of hard to get off Jonathan Taylor this week on FanDuel.
Now, that's another team that their offensive line really needs to pick it up because he's getting hit pretty frequently behind the line of scrimmage. But
yeah,
if their offensive line can pick it up, man, this could be a huge JT week.
I think paying down. I think my smash is Kareem Hunt. I'm going to stick to it. I think he's got a big.
Hunt. I like Travis Etienne. So we have Kareem Hunt, Etienne, Jonathan Taylor. Pass is going to be, I've got Derrick Henry. Jared has Christian McCaffrey, and we'll go with those. So, yeah, lock that in for show. Now let's move on to everybody's favorite position in fantasy right now, and that is the wide receivers. There's so many wide receivers in football. So many good wide receivers as well. So let's go ahead, take a look here. A lot of good matchups. Where are we kind of pivoting to when we're looking at some of these wide receivers? So if you did not know, in FanDuel, you do have to select 3 wide receivers. So we will pick 3 guys here that we think are going to be good options, and then we'll pick, some pass options as well.
Yeah, currently CeeDee Lamb is looking like he's the most popular wide receiver on the slate. I think CeeDee Lamb's a great player. At 22% ownership, though, and they only have a 22-point total for the team for the week. That doesn't even seem right. They're playing Washington, but that is their Vegas's total for Dallas Cowboys. I will pass on CeeDee Lamb at that kind of ownership. If you're looking for someone with a similar ceiling, at about under half of that ownership, I really like DK Metcalf this week against Detroit. I think that game could be a shootout. Last year, those 2 teams played, and they combined for 80 points. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but if that is, I would sign up a lot for DK Metcalf. He would be a smash for me.
Yeah, mine, when I'm looking at it, is if you've watched the show, this is my boy for sure, and I'm going to give him all the love in the world. But that's Romeo Dobbs for the Green Bay Packers. Had a fantastic week last week. Don't really think much has changed as far as his target. He's garnering more trust from Aaron Rodgers. He's coming in at 5,900 right now. And I know, New England is a tough matchup, but I think Aaron Rodgers is matchup proof when it comes to throwing the ball. He can put it anywhere, and this guy's just so good. Right now, among the crazy rookie wide receivers through the first 3 weeks, as we know, these rookie wide receivers are going bananas through 3 weeks, right? Romeo Dobbs, first in catch percentage, first in passer rating when targeted, first in yards after catch, 4th in catches overall, 4th in receiving yards, 6th in yards per route run. 3 ahead of him are first rounders. So this is a guy producing first round results. As a guy that, like I said, I've been on him, I guess, since March, I think is when I met, was looking through it. I've been on this guy since March. He's so good. And I think as the weeks go, he's just going to get even better. Aaron Rodgers is giving him more targets, more trust coming that way. And as of right now, he looks like the de facto number 1 guy there in the passing game.
I agree. He does look like their number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
I can get Aaron Rodgers number 1 wide receiver for 5,900, sign me up.
You want to know something better about that?
What's that?
He's at 2% ownership right now.
Oh, that's even
So,
better. Yeah, go ahead.
Of course, we're recording on Friday, and everything always changes.
It'll be changed by Monday or Sunday. Morning.
Yeah. So always, if you have a projections and if you have access to ownership, always pay attention to it. But right now, yeah, Lane, you're right on it, man. 5,900 is a great price tag for a guy that a lot of people do feel he's number 1 for Green Bay. 2% ownership, man, that's tough to beat. That's a great spot to be in. One other guy I want to touch on too, if you want to be different and get away from the Jonathan Taylor take, but you really like the Colts this week, Michael Pittman Jr. is at under 5%.
Yeah, that was my another one of my guys.
Yep, he's under 5% in a great matchup with Tennessee. Huh?
Yeah, and I believe Drew was in on Michael Pittman as well. I know Drew was a big Michael Pittman fan, which is why he made him the cover photo for this week's episode. So if you did not know, that's why Michael Pittman was on there. So we can't do the wide receiver segment without touching on Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I think he's in a great spot against that secondary in Tennessee. Tennessee's defense as a whole is pretty bad.
They're just really banged up. They're so injured.
Yeah,
It's tough. And even if healthy, those cornerbacks they're looking pretty rough. So I think without a Monty Hooker in there, they could target the secondary. It's really Michael Pittman. Like even as bad as the Colts offensive line has been, he's still garnering a lot of targets. He's still always open. So that's a guy that if that offensive line does end up clicking, that you could I think the sky's the limit for what he can do this week against that Titans secondary.
I agree.
So yeah, we have Michael Pittman, Romeo Dobbs, and who's your first guy?
The guy that I had as a smash.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Oh, I had DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, that's right. So we got DK Metcalf, Romeo Dobbs, Michael Pittman, who on the flip side are guys you are staying away from this week at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, just to follow up with earlier, I personally will not play CeeDee Lamb, which I do think he's in a great matchup against Washington. I just feel like the ownership's a little too high for my liking, especially with them only having a team total of basically 22.5. Like I'll stay off that. Another guy who is getting a ton of steam. I mean, if I was going to play chalk and around the same price range, I would play Drake London over CeeDee Lamb this week, but he's going to be very popular too in that Atlanta game as well. But they got a 50-point total in that game, and they're coming in, a little over 23 points is what Vegas has got them at. CeeDee Lamb is my fade for sure.
Well, I know you touched on it earlier, and it's something that I also have as a fade, and that's Christian Kirk this week. Not necessarily because I don't like Christian Kirk, but basically because that I think with Zay Jones being out, I think that secondary, that uber talented Philadelphia secondary, really kind of focuses on him. Now, I do think Doug Peterson will move him around the formation, try to get him in favorable matchups. So he still has the possibility of catching some good passes there. But I think what you're going to have to pay for him this week, as opposed to some of the other guys below him, it's just going to be it's a tough sledding for that Jacksonville passing game. Outside of some dump offs, and for the reasons we mentioned, Travis Etienne, they could be playing from behind, so they could, they might have to pass. But I'm kind of staying away from all of the options outside of Etienne, just because the strength of the Philadelphia defense is, they stop these wide receivers, they play really good, disciplined football. But where they do, what they do kind of give up in the passing game are the receptions to the running backs. They like to not give you the option to take the top off, but they will take those dump off passes and rally to the football, underneath. So they're fine giving up, a 5-yard catch to a running back as opposed to, a 20-yard reception to a wide receiver. That's kind of how their defense is built. They give up the short game and then they rally. So I think Etienne could see some plenty of receptions this week, and that could be a real good matchup. But outside of that, I'm kind of staying away from Jacksonville's passing game right now. And especially with Zay Jones being out, I think Zay Jones has done a terrific job, and he's taken a lot of pressure off of Christian Kirk to kind of get those favorable matchups, because he's a guy that you really like. He has the size and the speed to really, I guess, stretch a defense down the field and be a real big red zone threat. So you always kind of have to know where he is. A little bit like Alan Lazard, just he does different things. He allows the other guys to be good.
Yeah, there ain't no coming back from that one. That's so good.
Yeah. Great.
Best take ever.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Who is your fade? Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. And now we get into the abyss that is the tight end position. It's so bad. It's so bad.
You're either paying up or praying this week.
Yeah.
That's pretty much your options.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Like I said in the quarterback segment, I'm paying up for Mark Andrews. I do think the Buffalo defense, they are banged up, but I still do like their linebackers. But Mark Andrews is just matchup proof at this point. Like he's the best tight end in football. From a fantasy perspective, I think even just from a real game perspective right now, the way he's playing. I think for 3 weeks, he's the best tight end in football. So that's a guy that I'm really targeting. If I was to pay down for anybody, it would probably be Zach Ertz. Would be a guy that I would target. Not, the wide receivers are really, really, really banged up in Arizona, but they still have to throw to somebody. And that defense is so bad that I'm not quite sure that they don't make Carolina look competent.
Right.
So, I mean, if there was any week for the Carolina offense to look good, it would probably be this week. But yeah, I mean, regardless, they do throw the ball. They like to throw the ball around. Right now, with all those injuries, man, Zach Ertz might be the only healthy guy out there. And even whenever everybody else is healthy, Zach Ertz is still the guy that produces most of the results outside of, Hollywood Brown. So yeah, 5,500 right now as opposed to 8,400 for Mark Andrews. That's a very, very, very big difference. But yeah, I'm going Mark Andrews if I have to.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, man. I think Andrews is definitely the pay up option, the smash for the week. We kind of touched on it too. If you are looking to pay down, there's some decent options. It's nothing to get overly excited about. Kind of like what we touched on a while ago with the Eagles Jacksonville game. I do like Evan Ingram on the grounds, and I think he'll get some receptions. It's hard to get excited about that. The other one that kind of stands out to me too is Robert Tonyan. I kind of like Robert Tonyan this week. He's looking a little bit more healthier than he was. So that's an option too. And they're pretty heavy favorites against New England. Is the only scary thing about it too, is how much do they need to pass. But
I think TJ Hawkinson could be sneaky too, with Amon-Ra St. Brown being hurt.
Yeah, he's going to be popular.
I think Hawkinson could see a bump in production against that Seattle defense.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that too. I think he's gonna get some targets. Whoo, he's coming in at 17% right now.
That's pretty high. Who's that?
Andrews, he's probably right around the same 17%.
Yeah. There's just, like I said, there's just two positions that I'm fine just paying and dealing with this week, and then I'll make it work everywhere else. Who are some guys we're not looking forward this week?
Well, there's several. It's a tough week to be tight end. I am off on Pat Freiermuth against the Jets. I think he'll come in right at 10% or a little under 10%. There's someone else I really like on FanDuel for that game that we'll get into here in just a little. Oh, actually, he was in a wide receiver. I should have mentioned. I like Deontay Johnson a lot this week too. And Elijah Moore.
Anybody, Mitchell Trubisky has Mitchell Trubisky throwing on the ball.
I know. But on the other side of that game too, I really like Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Moore, I meant. Elijah Mitchell's out. Elijah Moore for the Jets.
Tyler Conklin at the tight end position. He's playing really well.
I don't hate it. He's getting the target share at the position. My fear is now that Joe Flacco is gone, what are we going to get?
That's the question with that passing offense this week, is how different and how much worse does it look?
Yeah, it's the big question of the week, honestly.
So for me, it's actually just to stick with the Jacksonville Philly game, because I know that's going to be a real popular game. It's actually Dallas Goedert is my pass this week, mainly because a guy like Devin Lloyd is just playing out of his mind right now at the linebacker position. He's been absolutely fantastic in pass coverage on these tight ends through the first 3 weeks. They're having a really hard time getting to going. And so, I mean, this might be, the game he hits the rookie wall against the tight end, but I think the wide receivers are set up for a little bit more success against that secondary as opposed to Dallas Goedert with, I think the strength of the Jacksonville secondary. I do like their safety room some, but I just really like Devin Lloyd. He's been fantastic in pass coverage for the first 3 weeks, and I think they're gonna mitigate some of what Dallas Goedert will do, especially because Doug Peterson is very familiar with Dallas Goedert's game, obviously with being his head coach before and how they like to use him. I think that could be the key to slowing down this offense some, is to slow him down and kind of make them try to make the passes on the outside. This could be a very heavy cover, I guess like cover zero type of game for the Jaguars defense, where they try to force these long, deep passes along the sideline. Make Jalen Hurts have to make great throws to beat you. I know that's not always the greatest thing, but right now that's where we're at. Don't give him the layups. Don't give him the easy stuff. Make him have to make great throws to beat your defense. And I just think the easy throws for him tend to be found there right in the middle with Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I agree. I think Goddard's in a good spot, but in the same manner, like he is. I think he's coming. He's got a little bit on him as far as ownership. Nothing too wild, but Dallas Goedert right now. No, he's only 5%. So that's not too bad. But I think you're either paying up for the tippy top or you're paying way down at tight end this week. You're either going Andrews or you're looking at these guys more in the 4K range.
Pujols hit 701.
Big hour. He ain't slowing down for nothing.
Yeah, it's a weird tight ends. Just like I said, there's such a huge gap right now between Mark Andrews and everybody else. I believe like even the next closest guy to Mark Andrews is still like 20 something points behind him. So, and that's the difference between first and second place. I mean, once you get past the second guy, it's even like crazy. It's like 30 to 40 points difference between Andrews and third place. So yeah, it's there's a huge gap, and I'm not going to cheap out, this week on quarterback or at tight end. So that's where I'm going.
Okay, I don't mind it.
All right, so now let's get into our actual lineup. So if you are joining us here live on Twitter or live on YouTube, wherever you are joining us, welcome to the part that you stayed the whole time for. This is the only part that you really care about. And that's where we give you a chance to win money with our free lineups. And like we said, we have had some pretty good success through the first 3 weeks. Each of me and Jared are up quite a big amount of money. We're doing pretty well as well. I know Andrews had some decent success as well on his end. So, but he's not here outside of Macho. What do you think back there? Has he done? He done pretty well.
Randy Savage, yeah, he's done really well, man. Yeah. He's had some good weeks for sure.
Hey, you know what they say: the cream always rises to the top, baby.
Rises to the top. So let's build one together here.
Let's build one. I love it. Okay. So, all right, week 4 FanDuel lineup. We're giving you the FanDuel lineup first, and we will give you the DraftKings lineup after this. So let's build a FanDuel lineup live here on the show that we think is going to win us, and more importantly, you, some cold hard cash. So obviously we start here with quarterback. I tell you where I'm going right now. I'm going Lamar. I want Lamar Jackson this week.
Oh, Landon, did you see that I shared a screen with you? I was going to build this on camera if you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and pop this up here.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, all right.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, you picked quarterback? Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I'm taking Lamar.
All right, well, I'll make it easy for you, and we'll do our stack. We'll go with our boy Mark Andrews.
I love it. I'll take Lamar. Take Mark Andrews. Now let's get into the running back, because I think this is where we can pay down a little bit.
Okay.
Like I said, a guy that I'm really wanting to get a hold of this week, I do want Travis Etienne this week, so I'm going to go ahead and pop Etienne into my lineup here.
Let me lock him in real quick here. Travis Etienne. All right. So I guess it's my pick. Let's see here. I don't think we need to get too cute either. I am all in on Mr. Jonathan Taylor this week.
And I'm never gonna say no to JT.
I might like that.
Give us a wide receiver here. Looking at these wide receivers, some guys that we talked about that we like. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with the Colts team. If we want to do a stack there with the Colts.
Are you doing a full game stack with no quarterback?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Probably a good idea. All right, so what I'm gonna go to? Romeo Dobbs. I'm going Romeo Dobbs.
Okay.
Just keep it cheap.
Yeah, I like it.
Give us the opportunity to pay up a little bit more at some other places.
Oh yeah. I think we touched on it earlier. I did my sneaky running back pick, and we put in our flex as Mr. Kareem Hunt. You want me to go ahead and put a cheap defense in here so you got some money to play with?
Oh no, I mean I'm cool either way. I think we'll stick with your guy, and that's DK Metcalf.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
And then that gives the last position to you, and then we'll get on to the defense.
Let's see here. Ooh, we got to go ahead and go to defense because we're flirting with only 4,600 per player.
That's the key.
I'll tell you what, man.
Andrews, JT, and Lamar Jackson.
Right. It happens pretty quick. A cheap defense I'm in on this week that I feel like will go under the radar. I like the Seahawks defense this week against the Lions that are a little banged up.
It does make me a little nervous, but hopefully Jared Goff can give us a couple gifts in this game.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to let you pick the last position. You got $6,000 to float around at the wide receiver position.
Oh boy, $6,000 here. Well, Alan Lazard is $6,000. I'm not gonna do that one to you. Man, this is tough. Just looking at some of the names around here, not a lot to go on. I think an option who's playing really well. Well, I don't want to chase the targets here, but I do know. Yeah, see, Mac Jones is out, so Axel is going to be playing. So, I thought about going to Devontae Parker here in this spot. He had a good game, but Mac Jones is not out there. DJ Shark is also questionable with an ankle injury. Devin Duvernay is out there for 5,700, but he's
got the double stack for Lamar.
Yeah, but he only had 2 targets last week, which granted one of them was a good one, but he's not really getting a lot of work out there. So that could be uphill sledding.
I know who you want to go with.
Oh boy, Alan Lazard.
Yeah, well, outside of Alice.
Who I want to go with? Go ahead, find something.
So 6Ks. We're kind of dealing and wheeling here.
Well, okay. There is a guy that I am curious about here that I'm probably going to go with.
I hope you say who I'm thinking it is too.
Oh, he's not on the screen there.
Oh man. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Actually, he's right around. He's a little bit further up the screen, and that's a guy. He had 9 targets last week. I think this team has had success throwing the ball as well. And no, not him.
Oh, good. Okay.
So he had 9 targets last week. He's getting to go up against, they'll move him inside in the slot against Kenny Moore, and it's going to be Big Bobby Trees, Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. Okay.
Robert Woods can be a sneaky play for the Titans, and I do think that.
I thought you were going to go Burks.
No, the other one, because I do think if they play Burks, there's a good chance they play him outside. almost exclusively, and I really like the corner. I mean, obviously Stephon Gilmore. I know Isaiah Rodgers is getting more looks now, and he played fantastic last week against Kansas City. So yeah, the outside corners are really good, but I think if they move Robert Woods inside, I really think he can kind of have a really good day against Kenny Moore with the way Kenny Moore is playing. And yeah, I mean, he's getting a ton of targets right now. Ryan Tannehill's throwing the ball as good as anybody in football. So there's a good chance that this game could end up getting away. They might have to throw the ball because the running game against the Indianapolis Colts just doesn't seem to work. So I think the success could be through the air, and that could be targeting the middle of that defense, and that's where Robert Woods really thrives.
Yeah, I like this lineup. I do. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's a unique lineup, and we're even going to leave 200 on the table too, which I like that. I like leaving a little bit on the table.
Yeah, you never know. So,
all right, I'm going to book it.
Yep, I've already entered it in as well.
Boom.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and enter that one in, and hopefully we win some money. Hopefully you play that lineup along with us. If you do, let us know in the comments. Let us know either on YouTube. Go ahead and tweet at us if you're playing the lineup as well, and let's go win some money together this week. Let's have a good week of money.
Absolutely.
Now let's get into our DraftKings. If you're not a FanDuel guy, if you do like DraftKings, they are a little bit different. So if you're a DraftKings guy, don't want you to think that we're leaving you out in the cold here, because we're not. Let's go ahead and get to our DraftKings lineup free for the week. As soon as Big Jared pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm 1 second here. I got a slow to a draw.
Old man Holly, he's still learning that technology.
Oh yeah.
Old Graybeard trying to figure out how this damn Nintendo works over here.
These damn Nintendos.
This damn Nintendo. What are you playing, son? You playing that Nintendo?
Playing that Nintendo.
Playing that Nintendo? No, it's a PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second here. I've got to clear out a few things, and then we'll set it together like we did the FanDuel one. All right, I'm just about there. Okay, let me stop screen.
Hey!
There I am again, full screen.
Hey.
All right, Google Chrome. All right, you see it? Everything good?
Yeah, we're good.
There you go.
Here we are. We are on the dot in London. Vikings Saints. Oof.
No, thank you.
A Red Rifle, Andy Dalton against Kirk Cousins.
I didn't even know Jameis wasn't playing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Andy Dalton's playing. Michael Thomas is out as well in this game. So Jarvis Landry's banged up. I think this could be a big Alvin Kamara game.
It could be.
If you're playing the London game, I'd play Alvin Kamara. All right, let's go ahead and look at our quarterback options. Big Jared, what are we looking like here? I picked the quarterback last time. I'll give the honor to you this time.
Let's stay true. Let's go Lamar Jackson on here as well.
Well, in that case, you're going Lamar. I'm stacking him once again. I'm playing Mark Andrews.
Okay.
I want that stack as much as I can get.
I understand completely. Kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I would not play this Jamal Williams play on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, he is more or less a lock at 6,600. So Jamal Williams. Or not I hit the wrong one. I hit Javonte. Jamal Williams is even cheaper. He's 6,100. Yeah. He's a lock.
Yeah. And so where's Etienne all the way down here?
Travis Etienne, yeah, he's gonna be cheap, man. Let me pull him up.
Right there. There he is.
At 5,400, I'm cool with it. Put him in. Wide receiver, I think we definitely need to save a little bit here too. I am gonna go with Elijah Moore, man. 4,800.
I can dig it. Yeah, like I said, we still don't have a ton of money to work with here.
I want to give you a little bit extra here. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it's much better.
All right. So let's go to our flex option. And let's try to save a little bit of money as well through here. Let's see here.
Full point PPR on DraftKings.
PPR. I think Robert Woods is a good option. Robert Woods is getting a lot of targets right now.
We can throw him in the wide receiver.
Yeah, put him in. 5,200. That's a.
I'm gonna stick to the theme, man, and I'll fill our flex position. Let's go with Nick Chubb, or not Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
Nick Chubb. So this is.
I'll give you 4,700 for our last spot.
4,700. All right. Well, let's go down here at wide receiver. Let's see what we're working with. Probably not a lot. 4,700.
Yeah. There's one that stands out to me.
You think? I just don't like any of these guys.
Romeo Dobbs, man.
Romeo Dobbs, yeah. I mean, he could be a guy, but I didn't want to make it exactly the same as our last lineup.
Oh, I like to keep it as close as possible.
Oh, well, let's throw Romeo Dobbs in there, 4,500.
You like it?
I like it. Gives us
All right.
200 remaining.
1-2. Wow.
Look at that.
That's crazy. Lamar Jackson, Jamal Williams, Etienne, Elijah Moore, Robert Woods, Dobbs, Andrews, Kareem Hunt, and Seahawks defense.
Let's put it in.
It is booked.
All right.
All right, man.
Yeah, those are our two lineups. We were right here in an hour. This show went really quick. We missed Drew.
No.
Not saying it's so weird without him, but luckily we had Macho Man to take his place back there, giving us the vibes. Man, it's just so funny. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah, true. So the story behind him is I went into a Huck's gas station and they had that display. I'm like, can I buy that from you? And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, yeah, I really want to buy it. And they're like, oh, we'll tell the manager. And I'm like, they ain't going to tell nobody. And they were going to call me when they were no longer using the promotion or whatever. And like a month later, I got the call. I'm like, I'll be right there. And I live close to this gas station. I have a smaller car. It wouldn't fit in there. I carried this thing across like a busy, like, so I was carrying this thing across the road with like traffic coming. I got this Macho Man cut out in the background, just holding it.
They didn't overcharge you for it, did they?
I paid $5 for it.
Oh yeah, that's a steal.
It's like a full cutout too.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's another episode in the books. Ready for week 4. I'm excited to win some money. I know you're excited to win some money, Big Jared. I know Drew's going to be playing these lineups as well. And Drew and I we locked in some over-under on sleeper lineups as well that we'll be doing. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, hit us up on Twitter. You can join us on Sleeper with the 3MR over-under plays where you can check our plays. You can send your plays in. We can all play together, try to win some money in that as well. So that's a really fun thing that we've been doing for the last few weeks. So, yeah, man, follow us at 3MR or at 3MannRush Podcast on Twitter. Each of our Twitter handles are in the video description as well. And if you're listening to this in audio format or anything like that, make sure to leave us a review. Let us know what you think of it. And then let us know if you're playing these lineups as well. Or give us some of the players that you really like this week in your own lineups. And we'll tell you what we think. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them to Big Jared. Our DFS guy really knows his stuff. He's ready to go. So go ahead and shoot him a tweet or DM at Jared3MR with any of your DFS questions on Twitter. And we're ready to rock and roll. So thank you guys so much for another episode. No crazy Jewish Italian Jewish voices in this one.
It's the only impression I know, man. It's the only voiceover impression I know.
Macho Man. What do you think? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you next week with our week 5 part 1 previews.
Peace.